Have you ever just stopped for a second and thought about the absolutely incredible work your body is doing right now without you even asking? Every single moment, it's pulling off this stunningly complex balancing act just to keep your internal world perfectly stable. Today, we're going to peek behind the curtain at this biological masterpiece.
So what are these silent tasks? Well, imagine a microscopic orchestra inside you, constantly making tiny adjustments, corrections, and calibrations to keep the music playing perfectly. It's an amazing symphony, and today we're going to spotlight a few of the star performers.
Okay, first up, let's talk about something we do all day long, breathing. But it's so much more than just pulling air in and out, right? Your body's obsessed with maintaining the perfect mixture of gases in your blood. You can think of it like the vital dashboard in a race car, constantly checking the fuel mix to keep the engine running at peak performance.
And what's just wild is how incredibly narrow these target zones are. I mean, look at this. You've got pH for acidity, PaO2 for oxygen, PaCO2 for carbon dioxide, and the room for error is tiny. Take pH, for example. If your blood strays even a little bit outside that 7.35 to 7.45 window, major systems in your body can start to shut down. It is a constant, high-stakes tightrope walk.
This brings us to a really important number, 95%. This is the goal for your oxygen saturation, or SATSO2. So picture your red blood cells as millions of tiny delivery trucks carrying oxygen. To keep everything running smoothly, we want at least 95% of those trucks to be fully loaded with oxygen as they zip around to your brain, your heart, and your muscles. If that number drops, your body becomes what we call hypoxic. It's literally starving for oxygen.
Now, believe it or not, the lungs job doesn't end there. They're also a star player in this super sophisticated multi-organ tag team that controls your blood pressure. And this is where you can really see how brilliantly all our internal systems work together.
The first member of this team? The kidneys. They're like the sentinels. When they sense that blood pressure is dropping, they fire the starting pistol. They release a hormone called renin. And that single action kicks the whole process into gear.
So who gets the signal? Well, that would be the liver. The liver makes this protein called angiotensinogen, and it's just kind of floating around in your bloodstream, basically on standby, waiting for the call to jump into action. It's the next runner in this critical relay race.
And here's where our friends, the lungs, come back into the picture. They release an enzyme called ACE. Now, ACE is the real catalyst here. It grabs that protein from the liver, the one that was put on alert by the kidneys, and it activates it. This sets off the final chain reaction that brings your blood pressure back up.
So you see, it's all about the sequence. It's a perfect three-organ chain of command. Kidneys signal the liver's protein, and then the lungs activate it. And get this, here's a cool connection to medicine. You've probably heard of blood pressure drugs called ACE inhibitors, right? Well, they work by blocking this exact step in the chain to help keep blood pressure from getting too high. Pretty clever.
So, what's the whole point of this complicated dance? It's all about restoring balance. The end result is that your blood vessels tighten up and your body tells your heart to beat a little faster and pump a little harder. Essentially, it's an elegant, built-in system to squeeze the pipes and get the pressure right back where it needs to be.
All right, so we've covered gases and pressures, but there's another crucial balancing act going on, managing the body's entire electrical grid. And a key player here is a mineral called potassium. You can think of potassium as the spark plug for your heart and muscles. If you have too little or too much, the whole engine can start to sputter and misfire.
And just like with our blood gases, the balance here is incredibly delicate. The normal, healthy range for potassium is just 3.5 to 5.0. That's it. Anything that creeps above 5.0 is considered high, a condition called hyperkalemia, and that's when things can get pretty serious.
And this quote really just nails it. The number one reason we worry about high potassium is its effect on the electrical signals in the heart and the way our muscles work. It's a direct threat to some of the most critical moving parts in our entire body. And look, this isn't just some abstract problem. It's a very real-world issue. For example, people with chronic heart failure are often on medications that can mess with their potassium levels. That's why they need to be monitored so closely, because they're living at a much higher risk of tipping into that danger zone.
So what do you do about it? Well, there's a clear protocol. You start with the simple stuff, like changing the diet and stopping any problem medications. If that's not enough, you move to IV treatments to literally push the potassium back into the body's cells. You might even use a nebulizer. But through it all, the most critical part is constant cardiac monitoring to make sure the heart stays protected.
And if none of those steps work, if the potassium levels just won't come down, the final resort is a very serious one: urgent, emergency dialysis. This really underscores just how life-threatening this particular imbalance can become.
So, when you step back and look at it all, from the air we breathe, to the pressure in our veins, to the tiny minerals that power our cells, it's impossible not to be in awe. Our body is this finely tuned masterpiece. These aren't just separate little jobs, they're all part of one beautifully integrated, self-regulating system that has one goal: keeping you and me in perfect balance.
It's truly amazing, isn't it? Our bodies are out here performing millions of these little miracles every single day, and we don't even notice. It kind of leaves you with a final thought, right? With all this incredible, intricate work happening inside us all the time, what can we do to maybe listen to our bodies just a little bit better?